Hey guys, so just bought this pressure washer at a yard sale. Wanted to get on here and show you guys what I'm about to do to it. It is a Craftsman pressure washer, 2.3 gallons per minute, 2,700 psi. You know, this is probably a $300 pressure washer. I haven't actually looked it up, but most pressure washers like this range from anywhere from $250 to $400. So a pretty decent residential pressure washer. But what happened with this thing, and what happens with a lot of residential pressure washers, is the pump on the pressure washer ends up cracking. And it does that because a lot of people either don't realize or just don't take the time to do it, that when in the winter time, if you're not storing your pressure washer in a temperature controlled area and the temperatures drop below freezing, if you haven't put some type of pump armor in the pump of the pressure washer or made sure you got all the water out of it, then what's going to happen is there's still water inside that pump, and that water's going to freeze, expand, and crack your pump. And then you get it out in the spring and you go to fire it up and there is water seeping out a crack in the pump. So the pump is never actually able to build up pressure because there's a crack in the pump and there's water just seeping out of that crack. I'm going to show you guys what that looks like, okay? Okay guys, I'm looking at the bottom of the pressure washer here where the pump is at. I turned my water hose on, and as you can see, there is water spraying out of the pump. That is not supposed to happen. So what happened is somebody didn't winterize this thing properly, and now the pump is ruined, or at least the pump head is ruined, and the pump needs to be replaced. And that's exactly what I'm going to be showing you guys how to do today. Okay, so I'm about to start the repair on this pressure washer, and I just want to talk about a few things before you really get into taking the pump head off. First of all, this is probably one of the most common failures of pressure washer, is getting a cracked pump like this. A lot of people buy these things, I think I said it before, and they just don't winterize them properly, and the pump ends up cracking because the water freezes and swells and cracks the pump. They end up either giving the thing away or they just sell it dirt cheap because they figure it's going to be super expensive to have it repaired, or you know, it's just beyond them to try and repair it. But I'll tell you right now, this is one of the simplest repairs you could make. It is literally 3 bolts. You take the bolts off, you put the new pump on, you tighten the bolts up, and you're pretty much finished. When you get ready to do this repair, you're obviously going to have to tilt the pressure washer back so you can get to the underside where the pump is at. I have this leaned back on just a little step ladder I've got, and I took a little bungee cord and wrapped it around the handle and the steps of the step ladder just so it doesn't slide off. Another thing you want to remember, whichever way you're tilting it, my spark plug is right here facing up, so you want to try, and whichever way you tilt it, have that spark plug facing up. So I wouldn't want the spark plug over here or on the back side of it, because then oil would potentially leak into the firing chamber and you're not going to be able to get it started after that. So that's pretty much all there is to it. I'm going to actually try and get the camera up a little bit closer so you guys can see just how simple this is. I have my 6mm Allen wrench. That's the only tool you should need. And this is a Craftsman pressure washer, but when you replace most of these pump heads, a lot of them are just going to use an Allen wrench like this to get the pump head off. You can actually, you know, I'm just replacing the pump head on this, but you can actually replace the entire pump assembly. I've done that on another pressure washer, but this time you're only going to need an Allen. Sometimes you'll just need like a regular wrench to get the bolts if you're replacing the entire pump assembly. But we're not going to get into that today. I will show it to you when I get the camera up a little bit closer. Okay, so I've got my pump here. So this piece right here, this this whole bottom piece where the hoses connect and everything is the piece that I'm going to be replacing today. You actually have two things here. I'll try and show you. You have this top part, which is what actually connects to the motor, and that bolts up so the shaft can come down and drive the pump. And then you have the bottom part here, which is the pump head. On another pressure washer, I actually replaced this entire pump assembly, but today I'm just going to be replacing this head. I wouldn't say I had a hard time finding this whole pump assembly, but I found just the pump head a little bit cheaper. Either way you go, it's going to be an easy repair. If you have to replace the whole pump assembly, it's going to be 3 bolts. And if you're replacing the pump head, which is what we're doing today, it's going to be 3 bolts. On this one, it's a 6mm Allen wrench. I have my new pump head sitting down here, which I ordered off Amazon. I paid about just a little over $56 for it, so that's not too bad. I paid $30 for this pressure washer at a yard sale, and so when it's all said and done, I'm going to have just under $90 in this pressure washer. The motor seems to run great, fired right up. So let's get started on this repair, and we'll see how it goes. So, well, that one was easy. Some of these, they can be pretty tight sometimes. Just try and break these other ones loose. There we go. And then one more to break loose. Okay, they're all broken loose now, so now I just need to take them all the way off. There we go. Put that in my pump. And then I got one to just get out of this other pump. Okay. There we go. And so now, pretty much all you're going to do is you're going to put this new pump back on here just the way it was, and you're going to put these bolts back in. So I'm just going to kind of just barely finger tighten them until I get all 3 of them screwed in, and then I'll go back around to all 3 and really tighten them down good.
It's always a good practice if you have multiple bolts like this holding something on, to just kind of finger tighten them and then go back around and tighten them all real good and tight. Because if you tighten one down super tight and you've barely tightened the other ones, you can actually sometimes warp whatever it is you're tightening down. Okay, now they're all finger tight. So now I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna really crank down on these. Make sure that pump head is on there really good and tight. Okay, and there you have it. The new pump head is on. That is all there is to replacing the pump head on a pressure washer. So if any of you guys out there have bought a pressure washer, you either didn't realize you needed to winterize it, or you just got busy and forgot about it, and you cracked the pump, then this is how you fix it. Don't go out and buy another $300 pressure washer when you can order one of these pumps for about $50, $60, depending on the pump, $70. It's a lot better than being out several $100s. All right, so now I'm gonna get this thing hooked up. I'm gonna fire it up, see if it works. All right, so I've got my water hose on, I've got my lines hooked up. As you can see, the other pump was cracked right along in here and it was spraying water, so we don't have any water coming out of there, so that looks good. I'm going to get this thing fired up and we'll see if it builds up pressure. Okay, there you go, guys. Simple pressure washer repair, replacing the pump. 3 bolts, that's all it takes. Any DIYer can handle this. So if you guys have a pressure washer that's not working or that the pump's cracked, get on Amazon. I'm gonna throw a link on there to the pump I used. It may not match up with your pressure washer, but you can do a search. So I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you're into doing DIY stuff, subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna constantly be posting all types of DIY videos. I always like to try and tackle things on my own if I can. And I like to see what other people out there are tackling. So leave comments, all right? I love it when people just decide to do things on their own instead of just going out there and paying people to do stuff. You can save so much money, and you get the fulfillment of doing things yourself. All right, guys, see you later. Have fun. Get it done.